skoa mer våga stärka. Stick du fot av bratt relay. Ställ du åta och hjärta. Jag kallar skinsen ni och klå vågadan vilja och klå tängan stormbrota fanner extendo. Jag skoa mer våga stärka. Stick du fot av bratt relay. Ställ du åta och hjärta. Jag kallar skinsen ni och klå vågadan vilja och klå tängan stormbrota fanner extendo. Jag skoa mer våga stärka. Stick du fot av bratt relay. Ställ du åta och hjärta. Jag kallar skinsen ni och klå vågadan vilja och klå tängan stormbrota fanner extendo.
There we go. Hello, everybody. Down a little bit. Hello, hello. Okay. Good morning, everyone. A little more. Great. Good morning, everybody. Sorry we're late. It is very hard to wake up at 6 a.m. these days. Or not to be up at 6 a.m. Like 5:30 a.m. to be here by 6. So here we are at 7 Central Time. Thank you for coming. Once again, this is a Norse Pagan, Asatru heathen prayer service. My name is Ben Kowalski-Grek, Reverend Ben Kowalski-Grek. I'm a Gothi with the Troth, and I'm here to host and facilitate this prayer service. We are going to do a little teaching first to teach you about this threefold method. This is one way that people pray. I use it. And I'm going to show you how to do it, and then we're going to actually do it together, and then we're going to just have a nice little Q&A afterwards. Does that sound good? Hope so. Hope your guys' Saturday is already off to a good start. To our friends already awake in Europe, I hope your Saturday has gone well. Just as a reminder to those of you who are here in the Twin Cities, Pagan started yesterday. And it's going into today. I will be there at the Heathen Hospitality Suite. I don't know what time, though. When my family decides to release me, that will be when I go. Let's begin with some education. Okay. So, what are we doing here? What is this? This is what I call the threefold method. This is a prayer structure that I came up with using a bunch of primary sources from the sagas, from travelers' accounts, from all the different accounts of people praying in the Norse pagan era, the pre-Christian era. All the accounts of those, I kind of slammed all those together and came up with this. Also with a few little bit of nuances and tweaks that I've come up with through 20 years of practice. This is what I've come up with. Now, is this written in stone? Was this pulled from runes? Was this pulled directly from the pages of a history book? No, it was not. It required synthesis on my part, just like prayer in Norse paganism and heathenry and Asatru requires synthesis on everyone's part, because there is nothing completely surviving in Norse paganism from the pre-Christian time. We are modern people supposed to come up with it ourselves. Now, you can, of course, it's not a mandate, you can of course take this, modify it, and change it how you will, but just understand this was come up with sometime in the 2020s, in the roaring 20s. All right, now thinking also, what is the first thing we should think of? Well, the first thing that a lot of people think of when they think of how to pray is, which way do I face? So for me, you can see my hand here, I am facing my altar. If you have an altar or a shrine at home, that is what you face. Easy enough. So if you have an altar, face that. If you don't, and I didn't when I got started, so don't feel bad if you don't, and don't feel like you have to have one in order to start praying. You can indeed pray without having an altar. That's perfectly okay. Let me help you out. So which way do you face in that case? Well, since right now it is, for me, morning, dawn, sun's coming up, I would say face east. If the sun has gone down or is setting, I would say face north. Those are both directions that are attested. I did find this out. Both of these are attested in different sagas and secondary accounts. There's accounts of pagans facing to the east. There's accounts of pagans facing to the north when they pray. So I combined the two of them together and said, oh, well, if the sun's coming up, face the sun. If the sun has gone down, face the north. I'm assuming, and of course I can only speculate as to whether or not that's even something people did, but I can see in my head how it might make sense. You know, the sun has gone down. What is your thing that you can orient yourself? Oh, the North Star, right? It's just an idea. The next thing is opening the prayer. How do we open a prayer? We open it by what we might say is claiming the space or cleansing the space or sacralizing the space that we're in. Now, most of us, like myself, live in multi-purpose spaces. We don't live in temples. We don't. Most of us don't have them. And most of us, our prayer spaces in our house are multi-purpose spaces. You guys are in my gym, you're in my office, you're in my laundry room, you're in my storage room, you're in my basement. You are also in my shrine area, right? So all these things are multi-purpose spaces. How do we sacralize that space for the prayer that we're about to do, or the offering we're about to do? How do we do that? Well, heathens in the beginning came up with the hammer rite. And the hammer rite is, as old school folks know, hammer in the north, hail and hallow this holy stead. Hammer in the east, hail and hallow this holy stead. Sorry to make fun. Old school people know what this is like, and we've all seen it done, usually somewhat dramatically. I'm just not that good at drama. So when I do it, I do hammer in the north. I don't do the hammer in the north, hammer in the east. I also don't do this other thing that I've seen people doing, which is they circumambulate the space with a candle or something like that, you know, to sacralize it, and usually chanting some kind of chant or mantra. Like, here's my desk, here's my wall. I do not have the space for circumambulating. So I don't have the space for circumambulating. I'm not doing the hammer right. So what do? Well, I borrowed a little tip from our friends from the East. Got myself a little something to ding. Or you can grab something to ring, like a bell. Or if you are lacking all those things, you can clap. Just a reminder, you don't need special tools to start praying in Norse paganism, Asatru, or heathenry. You don't need anything special or any gear to start. You can just start. And if, like, if you find yourself incarcerated, this should be something you can do even then, even if you have no materials with you. But if you do have something like this, you ring that 3 times. So either ding, ring, or clap 3 times. And that is what opens up the space for prayer. After that, I kneel down, which I am doing right now while I'm talking to you. I kneel down, I touch my hand to my forehead, I say, bless my thoughts, I say, touch my hand to my throat, I say, bless my words, and then extend my hands in front of me and say, bless my deeds. That's my quick little blessing that I do before we begin the prayer proper. Yes, all of this happens before we actually start praying. I'm a little long-winded when it comes to education. I do apologize that you're stuck with me this morning. Okay, so now we're in the prayer proper. How do we do that? What do we say? The exciting moment. What do I say? How do I speak? How do I speak to the gods? The thing that we say, or that I say, is from the Sigdrifamal. So we don't actually have a example where it says, hey, this is a prayer, or this is a prayer, or this is a prayer. There are scraps of runic inscriptions that look like prayers to the gods, which are usually, I think there was one written on a guy's skull where he was praying to the gods to relieve his headache. There was that. There's also prayers to say, like, cure the thirsts of this or this. You know, there's prayers like that. But we're probably thinking something more along the lines of like a prayer, like a praise or something like that. The sources are unfortunately very silent as to what people actually said. However, we do have this poem called the Sigdrifamal. The Sigdrifamal has these 2 verses in it, one of which begins, Hail Day, Hail Sons of Day. The other of which begins, Hail the Gods, Hail the Goddesses. A lot of us have today memorized these as being somewhat of a prayer. It sounds like a prayer, right? Kind of looks like a prayer. Kind of feels like a prayer. So we took it and we said, this is a prayer. So I took that and used that as a structure for prayer. So Hail Day, Hail Sons of Day, Hail Night and her daughter. I use that and then I speak that, and then I prostrate. That's full face down, hands down. And then I come back up, speak the second verse, Hail the Gods, Hail the Goddesses. Prostrate, full face down, hands down, back up again, and then I speak a third verse, which will be freestyled. So that verse that I'm going to speak the third time is one that I come up with off the top of my head, whatever gods or goddesses or things that I'm praying about at the moment. That is the thing that I will speak at that time. So it'll still follow that same structure. So it'll be, you know, if it's Thor, it'll be Hail Thor, Hail Son of Odin and of Earth, Hail our protector and our sustainer, bless us, da, 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 da. That's the format. Okay, so I take the Sigdrifamal as my structure and use that to build out any other verses I want to do. And after each verse, I prostrate, face down, hands down, come back up, speak another verse, prostrate. You can do this for as long as you want to. You might get a little lightheaded if you're going one after another. You do not feel the need to come up with a verse for every single god you can think of. Do not feel the need to just speak one verse to one god, you know, one verse per god. You could do 28 verses to Thor if you want to. You could do 28. You could do 28 of the same verses to Thor. This is a structure that you can use however you see fit. But it's the structure of speak verse, prostrate, speak verse, prostrate, speak verse, prostrate, on and on until you're finished. I wish I could give you a sacred number or something that you need to hit every single. You know what? Let's say 9. Let's say 9, 27, and 81. That's what we're gonna do. You can do it 9 times. You can do it 27 times. You can do it 81 times. So it's 3, 9, 27, 81. There you go. So But I'm just going to go for 3. Okay, we're just going to try and do 3 today. But keep in mind, no one set any particular number on anything. After doing those prostrations and prayers and verses, we then go into a short meditation. And the thing that I like to meditate on every time that I pray is thinking about prayer as the divine encounter, prayer as the encounter between myself and the gods, the individual subject and the absolute subject, philosophically speaking. And in that, being able to align with them and understand them. And in that understanding, what I'm trying to meditate on is how do I take that out into the world from here, through seeking wisdom, through speaking kindly and truthfully, and through doing good deeds. So how do I do those 3 things after I leave this space? And that's what I think on for about 1 to 2 minutes. After that, I'll stand up, I'll bow twice more. Oh, I should remember, before coming to kneeling, before entering the space, I'll bow once. So bowing once there, and then bowing 2 more times after we are finished. That gives us 3 bows. Get it threefold. Everything goes by 3s. It's neat and tidy that way, just because it's easy to remember. So we bow twice more, and then we can come to our questions and answer sessions. But after those 2 bows, you are done. And don't worry, as we go along, I'm going to have instructions on the screen, as well as some just like the verses of the Sigdrifamal. That's going to be up there too for you to see. Okay, so you will have a full guide as to what's going on at any given time. So if you want to play along at home, you certainly can. If you don't, I won't mind. Shall we? This is from the end of the last one. Let's begin. All right, let's start. Bless my thoughts, bless my words, bless my deeds. That's what I just said. Hail day, hail sons of day, hail night and her daughter. Look upon us with kind eyes, as we who are patient find peace. Hail the gods, hail the goddesses, hail the ever-giving earth. Bless us with wisdom and kind words and healing hands lifelong. This one is for Freya. Hail Freya. Hail Divine Lady. Hail our joy. Hail our happiness. Freya, look upon us with your kind eyes, your compassionate eyes, and give us the gifts of joy and happiness each and all of our days. And now, let's meditate. Thank you for joining me for that meditation. Let's stand and bow twice more, and then we'll get on to our questions and answers. All right. And back we go. Okay. I don't know. I started this thing at about, we'll give about 10 minutes for questions and answers. Thank you all for being with us today for the early morning prayer service. Again, I apologize for being an hour late. This daylight savings time thing has not done me in good stead. The best I can say. I will try to either get up earlier or to move the time. But gosh, I tell you guys, daylight savings time has me white. Do we have any questions from the chat? Again, I do appreciate you guys being here today. I do appreciate everyone who's watching at home, wherever you may be watching from. I hope this did you some good. I hope you learned something from this, and I really genuinely hope that some of this makes it into your daily practice as well. It doesn't have to. Of course, I'm not Gothi of heathenry. The all hair yars Gothi of heathenry. But I do sincerely hope that some of it, at least maybe the philosophy behind it, makes it into your own prayer service, your own prayers that you do at home. Oh, hello Madrid. Hello Madrid. I've always wanted to go. My mom used to travel to, she had friends in both, I think she went a lot to Barcelona, Madrid, and oh, what's that one? It's all the way up in the north. Oh, it's Basque Country. She used to go to Basque Country a lot. That was one of her favorite places to go. So, hello Madrid. Yeah, we are here for this is actually Michel Nance. We are here for exactly the part of the reason why we do this prayer service early is because of our friends like you in Europe who 10 o'clock sorry, 8:30 at night 8:30 at night US time is like what, like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning for you guys. So we wanted to do something that was a little bit more reasonable for more folks to come out. So we figured doing 2 a day would be a little bit more reasonable for you guys. If anyone has any questions though, I am happy to take them. Otherwise, I am just going to try and come up with answers as I just answer questions that I've seen, you know, like pop up online and such. Thinking. Okay, let me think about what I've actually seen, questions that I've seen pop up online since this week. I'm thinking the one that's come up for, oddly enough, for a lot of people is like, how do I practice my religion in a home where I am, you know, basically I'm living in someone else's house by their rules, and they are very strictly Christian, and like, how do I practice without them knowing about it? The thing is, like, I think a lot of people get very caught up in heathenry, in the aesthetic of it, and they think that they cannot practice this religion unless they look a certain way, or that they have certain items, that they have to have a nice altar, they have to have the objects, they have to have the swag. This is not the case. So the first thing I would say to do, if you are trying to practice a religion in a place where or you believe the people around you aren't going to like it, is to first redefine your worldview of what counts as practicing this religion and being this thing. You know, you don't have to have the statues, and this is something that really comes across to me as someone who, you know, they kind of want to practice heathenry, but they also they're not sure about it, right? They're not quite sure that this is something they want to do with their lives or whatever. So what I would say is the commitment is not defined by the objects that you buy, the clothing you wear, the way you style the hair, the tattoos that you have or don't have. You don't have to wait to get those things. The important thing is the inward subjective commitment that you are making to the gods, that is visible, that is made manifest through prayer and offering, all of which can be done. I mean, the gods can accept a handful of flowers, you know, or a cup of water. There's no there's no need to wait for some kind of special, like, oh, I need to cook up a steak until I could. And you see how this becomes like, oh, well, until I can cook up a really great steak, I can't worship the gods. No, until I have this beautiful altar with the wonderful statues, I just can't be Asatru. I just can't be, because I don't have these things. So just not yet. I'm not going to do it yet. No, I think in some ways there is a fear of what it means to commit to this kind of religion, this kind of faith. You know, it's going to be a minority faith. You know, it's going to be a minority religion. You know, some people might find it silly later on in your life. Absolutely, they will. But if that's the subjective commitment you want to make, then it doesn't matter. The objects don't matter. The cool tattoos, the cool whatever, none of that stuff matters. What matters is your inward commitment that is expressed through offering and through prayer. So what I would say to you people out there who are wondering if you can still be heathen and practice in secret or whatever, redefine what you think being heathen means. It is about inward subjective commitment to the gods, faith in them. You know, inward subjective commitment to the Landvatir, inward subjective commitment to the ancestors, however you want to. It's about that inward subjective commitment that is expressed through sacrifice and through acts of devotion and through prayer. It is not in the objects. It is not in the special things that you buy or wear. It's in you. So for those of you out there who are wondering how to practice this religion, start with, again, rethinking what you think it means to be heathen in the first place. You know, there are those of us who are incarcerated who don't get to who don't get fancy religious objects, who have to beg prison guards for a hammer or for a horn or whatever ritual implements they want. They have to beg for them, beg to be able to have them. You, much like they do, have to redefine what it means to participate and what it means to be heathen. And I think there's a lot of people out there who, unfortunately, I think take advantage of the, we might say, object heavy nature of our religion, who take advantage of the idea that we think we need t-shirts and swag and, you know, statues and all this stuff, just stuff, and they're willing to sell it to you. I think people are willing to take advantage of that, and they've kind of built a faith that makes it seem like we require stuff in order to worship, and you don't. This religion begins with your inward subjective commitment to the gods that is expressed through sacrifice. That is it. That is the beginning of it. That is the end of it. So when you're thinking about this, how can I do this? Just think about what this is. Okay? Thank you all for attending. Thank you for coming to this prayer service this morning. I really do appreciate it. My name again, Reverend Ben. I am go thee with the troth. And I will see you guys this evening at 8:30 p.m. Central for our nighttime prayers. Thank you once again